of a composite figure. All right, so here we have an athletic field that has the shape of a 40-yard by 100-yard rectangle. So that section right there is this white unshaded area, 40 yards by 100 yards, with a semicircle at each end. Notice the semicircles are exactly the same. A running track that is 10 yards wide, which is the shaded area around the track. And we're going to use the information of pi equals 3.14 to find out everything we need to know. So let's start off with question A here. And question A says find the area of the athletic field without the track. So what I'm going to do is I obviously have two different shapes. I have a rectangle here in the middle, and I have semicircles at the end, so I'm going to need two different formulas. First formula I'm going to need is area equals length times width. Okay, and if we look at this, we can see that our width is 40, and our length is 100 yards. Right here. So, times 100. And 100 times 40 is 4,000. And of course that's area, so it's 4,000 yards squared. All right, now let's go ahead and do the next formula for the next shape we have. The next shape we have is the two semicircles at the end. So I know I'm going to do area equals 1/2 pi r squared. So now let's look at the radius here. So we know if this is our semicircle, this 40 yards goes all the way through the semicircle. So we know that's the diameter. And if the diameter is 40, we divide that by 2 to get the radius. So 40 divided by 2 is 20. So when I write this out and I substitute in the correct numbers, it would be 1/2 times 3.14 times 20 squared. And of course, 20 squared is 400, 20 times 20. So I'll write 400 there times 3.14 times 1/2. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to take 1/2 of 400, because remember we can choose to do it whichever order we want, and we always want to choose the easiest way. So 1/2 of 400 is 200, and I'm going to times that by 3.14. And when I times 200 times 3.14, I get 628. So that's 628 yards squared. Now, I have two semicircles, two half circles. So I need to go ahead and multiply those by 2. And when I multiply those by 2, I get 1,256 yards squared. Now I need to add that to the 4,000. So I'm going to add 4,000 to that. And I get a total area of 5,256. All right, now let's move on to question B. Question B says find the area of the athletic field with the track included. So first things first, let's write down our our formulas that we need. Area equals length times width, and area equals 1/2 pi r squared. All right, so now let's go ahead and look at the information that we need here. So length times width. Now remember, we're talking about both the white area and the shaded area. So we know that it's an extra 10 yards on either side. So 40 plus 10 is 50, and then 50 plus the other side's 10 added is 60. So we know that our new measurement is 60 yards wide. So I'm going to write in 60, and it's still 100 yards long, so 60 times 100, and that comes out to 6,000. And that's yards squared. All right, so now I am going to come over to the semicircles, and I'm going to fill in the information there. So for the semicircles, remember, we added 10 yards to either side. So instead of being 40 yards for the diameter, the new diameter is going to be 60 yards. And if the diameter is 60 yards, then we know that the radius is going to be half of that, which is 30. So 1/2 times 3.14 times 30 squared. 30 squared is 900. So we have 900 times 3.14 times 1/2. And what I am going to go ahead and do is I am going to go ahead and multiply 3.14 times 900. And when I do that, I get 2,826. And then I divide it by 1/2, and I get the area of 1,413. Now, I have two of those, one on each end, so I'm going to multiply that by 2, and I'm going to get, once again, 2,826 yards squared. Now, what I need to do is I need to add that to the rectangles measurements. So 2,826 added to 6,000 is 8,826 yards squared. So with the running track around the field, we know that the total area is 8,826. And so to find the area of the track only, we take the total area of the track and field, so 8,826, and we are going to subtract that from 5,256. And when we do that, we get 3,570 yards squared. So we know that this track going around the field has a total area of 3,570 yards squared. Thank you for watching Royal Math Podcast. See you around like a donut.